Probably know my guest here from Ed Randall's Talking Baseball, which premiered on television about 20 years before the invention of television. He's been a sportscaster since before I was. He worked at ESPN before I did. He worked at CNN before I did. Now he's working on something important. A pleasure to be joined now by the founder and namesake of Ed Randall's Fans for the Cure, dedicated to raising prostate cancer awareness.
I've never been introduced like that in my life,
well,
but I would expect you to do
You
so.
asked for it. As I said before, no disrespect to anybody fighting or afflicted by breast cancer. This is not a competition. No. But why no, and there's an event in baseball on Father's Day, but why no Prostate Cancer Month in baseball, football, basketball, the NHL? There's still male fans and players, are there not?
Yeah, there are, and I don't understand why that has not been the case. And we are dedicated to changing that, because it is all about awareness and education, and it is in the numbers. You and I are essentially baseball guys. We live and die with statistics. The numbers are as follows. 1 in 6 Caucasian men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer. If he is Latino, 1 in 5. If he is African American, where tragically the incidence of prostate cancer is 2 to 3 times higher than it is in the white community, 1 in 4. You contrast that with breast cancer, 1 in 8. A man is 33% more likely to be diagnosed with prostate cancer than a woman is breast cancer. And when I speak publicly about it, I say it twice. A man is 33% more likely to be diagnosed with prostate cancer than a woman is breast cancer. We have more cases, we have more deaths. That is incontrovertible. Inside the stadium of your favorite team, the New York Yankees, there will be 240,000 cases of prostate cancer diagnosed this year, enough to fill Yankee Stadium 5 times. So when I speak about it, I say that I am the only CEO you're ever going to meet who hopes to go out of business. Right. But in the meantime, I will be the car alarm you cannot turn off.
So, but the key about this is, as shocking as that probably is to people who haven't heard it before, the other statistic is if you get early detection, even early detection of cancer, let alone the annual screening, right. This is one of the most easily treated and cured diseases. This is about when it's protected early, dealt with early. It's like cuticle problems, right? I mean, it's if you had cuticle cancer, it's that it can be that easily dealt with, and that's the tragedy here.
And it is a tragedy. And I left out the last number intentionally for this question. There's a 96 to 97% cure rate of prostate cancer is detected early. So when you and I read in the New York Times or whatever an obituary of somebody who has died young of prostate cancer, I equate that, Keith, with suicide. This guy could not have possibly gone to the doctors. An example, Vince Evans, great novelist, wrote 14 bestsellers, was invited to the White House by Bush 43, died at 47 years old. Obituary in the New York Times, left a wife and 3 kids. I will bet my life this guy never went to the doctors. How could you not want to know? And that is really what we're fighting here, to let men understand this, that they are loved, they are wanted, they are needed, they are cherished, and they have a responsibility to go to the doctor. Yeah. Not to say, I feel fine. And if I could just extend to this, take my own situation. 47 years old, no history of cancer in the family, no symptoms. When I go to the doctor's for what was a routine physical. Thought it was a routine physical. Next day, my doctor called me. Doctor had never called me, ever. Right. Says, you know, your PSA is really out of whack. And now, of course, my only definition at that moment in time of PSA is
public service announcement.
I have no idea this is an addition for prostate cancer. He says, you know what, but come back, let's take another blood test, we'll send it to another lab. I did, he did, the results of the second test were exactly those of the first. I was full of prostate cancer. And when I went into my 2 favorite words, through God's grace, getting a second at bat at life, when I went into my 2 favorite words in English language, in remission, right there with Merry Christmas and Happy Birthday, I made the determination, you know what? I came to this realization. There could be tens, hundreds, thousands, millions of guys out there like me walking around feeling fine, thinking they were fine, when in fact they were time bombs. And that's why we established the 501c3 called Ed Randall's Fans for the Cure, dedicated to the proposition of spreading the twin gospels of prostate cancer awareness and the life-saving value of early detection.
And you go to the ballparks and basically talk to players, fans, anybody who sits still and listen.
We went to 18 spring training camps, talked to more than 2,500 minor leaguers, and said one of the touchstones of the great work that women have done for breast cancer has been that it's multi-generational. The women in your family learn about their breasts when they're little girls. There's nothing like that with boys. We need not an old guy like me. We need to build an army and a brotherhood, and that relies, and I'm relying on you to help create that.
Okay. This is ultimately, in 30 seconds, the reason people don't do this, the reason guys don't do this, is there is some stigma attached to the exam, as if we all didn't spend half of our lives with our thumb in that orifice anyway. Why? It's as simple as that.
That would be me.
Yeah, it's as simple. Just take it for 10 seconds.
10 seconds of your life. A PSA exam, we understand there have been efficacy issues regarding the PSA exam. I've yet to have somebody tell me, well, there's an alternative. I've not yet heard that. The digital rectal exam, flawless.
Right, and it's over like that, as opposed to your life being over like that. Ed Randall's Fans for the Cure. Thanks for coming in. Always a pleasure to see you.
Always a pleasure to see you, and thank you for having me on.
You are very welcome.